Not much. Same old, same old. I was actually on a video with Lloyd yesterday, and was it yesterday?
The one with Germ?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I watched it this morning. It was awesome.
Oh man, we had so much fun. But I've been doing a lot of that lately, and just with Christmas just passing and getting ready for New Year's, it's been fun. It's been
Yeah.
fun. I've been doing a lot of stuff.
I recognized a bunch of those pictures, especially like the early ones, the weird stone looking Babylon the Great on the wild beast with a bunch of different animal heads.
Oh yeah, she had the one with the headband on.
Going all Cobra Kai, you know?
I know, right? She's representing her clique, like
Yeah,
this
it's
Babylon clique. I have been really enjoying like taking a look back at the pictures of old, because I just remember seeing them. And funny thing is, a lot of the like jokes I come up with were actually things I was thinking about as I was sitting down in Kingdom Hall, like looking at it. I was like, man, Adam really had his hair cut and slicked back like that. Like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
type of comb did he use? What type of products was he using? Like, those were real questions I had back in the day.
Well, I mean, it's really funny. Some of the pictures, like especially the way that they depict women and stuff, you wonder why we all came out of there with like all these body issues. And,
Yeah,
these women all have like this Brett girl hair too. Like,
yeah,
all these curls that we're going to take like 25 years in a salon to get your hair to actually look like that.
easy breezy, beautiful cover girl Eve, right?
Circa 1984.
I know, and it always
the big
matches
flip
whatever.
right here.
And that's funny too. I wish I would have mentioned that. Like, the hair always matches the time period they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, the updated like material that they put out, it looks like a woman of today. You know what I mean? When it was actually the first woman, and they always wear makeup and stuff. I ain't know.
Oh yeah.
Like a beauty line back in the day, but
not just a little makeup either, like a lot of makeup.
Exactly. I'm talking about the eyebrows was like perfectly arched.
Mm-hmm. All of it.
She was born with a makeup face, right?
Or maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know.
Hilarious.
It's Jehovah Lean.
Jehovah Lean.
Jehovah Lean.
That sounds like a drink with drugs in it. Lean. You ever heard of lean before?
Yeah, that's true. Now that you mention it, that sounds kind of scary. It just kind of creeped me out a little bit because we were, my husband and I were watching a Dateline this morning about the Jonestown incident back in the 70s. And I'm like, all I could think about was that watchtower in 2012 or 2013. You know which one I'm talking about, that said, we must be prepared to follow the governing body's instructions, even if it doesn't make sense from a human standpoint or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about, because I think I made a video when I first heard about it, to whereas I'm like, at what point were we instructed to follow imperfect man without question? Like, because technically that would put them on level with God. You know what I mean? Like, at the moment we're like, you know what? I don't care what you say, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Like,
that's
even if it doesn't make sense to me, like, no.
Exactly. Because like for people that believe in God and whatnot, if you do believe in God and you believe he instilled you with common sense and he instilled you with the ability to feel that something is off or feel that something is not right, and you should question things like that, because first off, that feeling saves your life.
Right.
Somebody who's never seen a lion before, they don't have to be educated on what a lion is and what it can do to know, hey, that's an unsafe animal to be around.
Right. You face to face with one, that thing's going to eat me.
Exactly. So that it's an internal security system inside of your body to keep you safe. And they're telling you to ignore that system that, the God you believe in put in you.
Yep.
Just unquestioned, listen to them. Just like, I don't remember that scripture in the Bible.
Me either. And it's scary too, because, a lot of, particularly with women, a lot of us, when we leave, come out with that mindset. We've never even heard our inner voice. We didn't even know we had one. We thought that was demons. So I've been out for a really long time, like 25 some years, and it's still, there are days when I'm just like, I can't believe what they did.
Well, and that's the thing, because when you're in, you're constantly being attacked. And I mean, not just a straight on attack. They attack you in every single instance of your life, like all through it completely. And it's to the point to whereas when you leave, even though you know it's wrong and you leave, that's still not enough to recover because you're hurting in ways you don't even know. Like one of the things I always say is that I got really emotional when my son won his first trophy, mostly because like I didn't know, and I didn't know it was gonna happen. Like it was just whatever, but I got emotional because all my life I've always loved sports. I've always loved to play them. I sneak off and play them, you know, when I could. I got in trouble one time. I got caught playing basketball with some worldly guys.
Oh no!
I know, right?
The horror.
The horror. I hated Jehovah apparently because I was a kid playing basketball with other kids, but I got in trouble for that. And to just go through my whole life and to love sports the way I love it and to have never competed for anything ever.
Yep.
My son actually got that. I was like choked up. I'm like, what is this feeling? Because I didn't know that I was emotionally scarred in that area. And I had to go through that to learn it. So,
right. Well, I totally get it because I started doing Taekwondo about 1.5 years ago, and I'd always wanted to do martial arts, always. And it was, of course, no way as a Jehovah's Witness were you ever doing martial arts.
And violence all together.
Oh, I know. So I started doing Taekwondo, and it was a couple of belt tests ago that I got the trophy for the best breaking, for that, you know, the board breaking. And I got up there and bowed and took my trophy and said, Kamsahamnida. And I just looked at it and just started just bawling my head off. And I'm standing there in front of my whole, my whole cohort of people like, oh my God. I said, I just have to explain why this means so much to me.
Right.
I said, you know, I won't like belabor the point, but I was raised in a cult and I wasn't allowed to do anything. And this is the first time in my life that I've been able to, like, this is something that I've wanted since I can remember. And here I am, I was like 42. They're like, yay!
That's right.
It's ridiculous. Right. But at the same time, I had to explain to all the normal people in the room why it affected me that way. The thing is on display behind glass in my living room.
As it should be. That's where priceless items go. You know what I mean?
Right, with all my broken boards. And my kids are like, why can't we win a trophy, Mama? I was like, you don't work as hard as me. That's
right. Get your game up, kiddo. Let's see you break 5 boards with one karate chop, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's up. But yeah, that's part of becoming an XJW is to learn exactly how to recover and learn the things you need to recover from because it's a continuing process. It's at the point where I don't know if I'll ever fully recover. You know what I mean?
Neither.
Because it's just been too, like we've had too many things, you know, too many attacks, you know, just
too much damage.
Too much damage. But it's to a point to where as you can just appreciate what you have and you can appreciate the good that comes from it. For example, like you can appreciate everything a little bit more than most people, you know? Like things in life that come along now that a lot of people mastered when they were teenagers or whatever, you know, the fact that you master them now is a little bit more sweet. You know what I mean? Like the holidays taste a little bit better. Going out and living your life tastes a little bit better. You know, it's just one of those things that you can appreciate and you can also instill and see in other people where they can use help. You know what I mean? Like you're a little bit more conscious of like blind spots that people may have. Like one thing I learned is like how to help people with brainwashing. And one of the things I'm making videos about it now, but one of the things I know about
which are very good, by the way.
Thank you. I'm working on one right now. But one of the things is that it's easier to deal with when you know that you're brainwashed. You know what I mean? And you know how they did it. When you know how they did it, it one prevents you from letting it happen again, and 2, it helps you to overcome it, you know, because one thing that I didn't realize for a long time was I need to live in a space of I don't know everything. And there's nothing that I'm 100% convinced of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing in life in which I'm like, this is what I believe, and no matter what anybody say and anybody tells me, I'm not going to change my mind, because that's where brainwashing lives. It lives in that area, you know what I mean, of certainty, not uncertainty. So if you can walk around, and if you're just willing to listen to the other side, that don't mean you got to believe them.
Yep.
It don't mean that, you know, you're right and they're wrong. If anything, it's just another opportunity to gain more information, and that's never bad.
Right. So, well, and realizing that we've been programmed, for those of it, you were born in, right?
Yep.
Yeah, me too. So understanding that being born in, we were programmed to be susceptible to a good motivational speech, right? So that's why people fall for like pyramid schemes and multi-level marketing and all that stuff, because you get that right tone combined with the right words and the triggers, and you're all in, and having to realize that and learn about influence, how you're more susceptible than maybe the average person, it's hard. And it's hard to remember that in the heat of the moment too, sometimes.
It is.
Or at least it is for me.
Nah, me too. Like, I've been gotten more than my fair share. You know?
Me too.
But that's also a goal in the organization. They train everybody inside the organization to be gullible.
Because if you had any critical thinking skills whatsoever, you'd be able to see through them.
Yeah.
Right? They can't have that.
But it's also a twofold mission, because let's say that you weren't, you didn't see through them or whatever, right? But when you leave the organization and you say, you know what, I'm not going back, and you get out in the streets, if you're not prepared to, you know, live in an environment where people actively try to take advantage of you, you know, and you get taken advantage of enough, you'll be like, oh, see, they told me this would happen if I left.
They were right.
They were right. I need to go back.
And we're programmed to self-destruct too.
Exactly.
You know, and I did my time in the self-destruct mode too. But, you know, it's funny how much of, like, after 20 some years of therapy and working on myself and reading and learning and going to school and all the things, how much of that brainwashing still lives in here is really scary. Yeah. Sometimes. Like, I'll tell you, I was making, and I saw this in my sister too. I was making the Christmas song video.
Nice. Yeah.
And I finished it and I played it back and I listened to it. And then I played it back for my sister before I posted it. And the first time I played it back, you know, that first Jehovah gave to me was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. You know, even though I'm an atheist and I'm loud and proud about being an atheist, like, dude doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There was that moment of, oh shit, I messed up.
Right.
You know? And then I watched my sister listen to it and she was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's still in there.
It is.
Or, you know, do you ever have those days where you have like low-lying anxiety, like you don't know where it comes from, but I don't feel right, you know? And then I realized that it's something being triggered. It's something in the brainwashing that's being triggered. COVID has, and all the, you know, the earthquakes and the pestilence and blah, 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 you know, all of those trigger words keep coming to mind. It's like, is this really it? But you know, it's not.
I know 100% is not. And it's all, you know what it is mostly? A lot of times, because probably I felt that more when I first left, but now I kind of, it's going to sound bad, but it's kind of funny to me, because when I see the bad stuff happening, I just, in my back of my head, know, like, look, the Jehovah's Witnesses is going to eat this up.
Oh,
this is information right here. This is going to make my job so much harder, because they're like, and it 100% happened. Like, I was talking to somebody who I love who's a Jehovah's Witness, and they're like, you don't see the riots out in the street. You don't see what Trump is doing. And, you know, like, just, and they would go there with it, right? Just naming anything that's like, quote unquote, not good, and use that as an assessment of the current time we're in. This is the last days and whatnot. So I hit them with, well, you know, what about when everything's over? Like, when they're not rioting no more, when COVID-19 is done? What about when all this is over? Are we going to then be like, wow, you know, I guess we're waiting again? Or are we going to just ignore the fact that this happened? Because right now, back in the day, in around 1975, if this was happening around 1975, they would have been, oh, you see it, look,
Oh yeah,
all that. But
even more dumb people would have sold their houses and like
that's a fact.
But to pioneer.
Exactly. But they've learned so much since then that they're afraid to even remotely come out and be like, hey, this is the end. Like, I see them kind of hint at it. Yeah, you know, it's the final days of the final day. But nobody's really stepping up like, yo, this is the end. You need to get your affairs in order. Make sure you got a place to run off to. Buy some new locks for your basement because you know they coming.
Get your go bag.
That's right. Get your go bags ready. And like, nobody is doing that because in the back of their head, they know it's not real. They know it ain't happening. They know it's not. And I think that the whole Great Tribulation thing is just basically the governing body's like escape route. I can see it now. They say the Great Tribulation is happening, probably right as like authorities are breathing down their neck for something they done did, you know. And
probably having to do with children.
Exactly. Absolutely. I'm betting my money that's what it's probably gonna be, but it's coming. And when that happens, the day that happens, they're gonna declare the Great Tribulation. That means that the mentally like wrapped in Jehovah's Witnesses are going to be like, okay, we need to cut off all contact with the governing body. If they need our help, like trying to hide them or, you know, making a way for them to get out the country.
Oh, no, they're going to say the governing body got raptured because that's what they're teaching now, isn't it? That they're going to be taken up. So
they are.
So then the governing body will disappear to an island where the water's a funny color. Right. And the word on the street will be, oh, they got raptured and we're in the Great Tribulation. I guarantee you. I bet you they're going to need a boat ride to some country we don't have what is it called? Extradition? Yeah, the extradition treaty with. Probably. That's the country where we need to go to get raptured. So get us a boat or a helicopter. Rapture point. Right. It's a rapture point. You know, he can't. God can't. Can you see all those jowly old dudes actually getting taken to heaven? Like, no, come on. That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's the thing I really don't get. Like, of all the 144,000, all 144,000 would be raptured up, right? Not just the governing body, right? Yeah, I think so. Do you? I forgot where I remember seeing this, but you know that the governing, like the organization, doesn't keep count of the people who profess to be of the anointed. Yes. And there's in the yearbooks. Yeah. More than 144,000 people partake in any given year. Yeah. Like, wait a minute. Jehovah's not good at math. Wait a minute. He's been watching people jerk off too long. He's too much. His brains are addled. He can't math. Yeah, he got distracted, kept his eye off the ball. Now he lost out. Or he's looking at the wrong ball. I don't know. The wrong people are going to get raptured, or nobody's going to get raptured. You got to start over. Either way it goes. I watched the video Lloyd made. I forgot. I think it was Lloyd. Or it might have been JT. I forgot. It was one of those big, amazing channels. JT, because if y'all don't know, go subscribe. Oh, I love them. Oh, yeah. They're the best. But they're saying that they did kind of a rough count, like based scripturally. They ran out of 144,000 people a long time ago. Yeah, like in the late 30s or something? Yeah, like a long time ago. I don't even know if it might have been before the late 30s. I'm talking about like in Bible times, like certain cities full of people were going to be like, they were like anointed. Well, the next thing's going to be like, oh, well, that was a figurative number. Oh yeah, you know they're gonna switch it up. They're gonna definitely switch it up. They always do. Well, but okay, so here's the thing. If you look at all of there's a ton of XJW channels out there, right? Yes. Some of them new, some of them older. There's some that are not active anymore that used to be like really good. I mean, there's tons of content, but what you don't see is a lot of comedy, right? Until now. There's not a whole lot of people who find this shit amusing, right? Who've actually been there, right? Yeah. So I think it's interesting, to me anyway. It's a really great recovery tool. Yeah. Both for the person making the videos and for the person watching them. Like, once you can laugh at something, it can't really be that scary anymore, can it?
I was just gonna say that. Like, I've been living by that for a while now.
Yeah.
I forgot where I initially heard it, but it's one of those things to whereas you're 100% right. The moment you're able to laugh at something that happened to you that used to hurt you, you are officially over it.
Yep.
You are at the moment now where you're like, you know what? This thing doesn't have any power over me. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that everybody needs to get to that point, you know what I mean, to where you can laugh at something, but it's something you should strive for, like just like really taking the power away from something that hurts you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the goal. That's, I think, is what can help a lot of people who've been through traumatic, hard situations. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's literally one of the reasons I do it. Another reason I do it is because I don't know if you noticed, but I like to talk.
No.
Yeah, and when I talk, I realize certain things, and I'm one of those type of people where it's hard for me to like stay focused and sit. Like, I'm telling you, when I'm in my car, because I'm kind of distracted, it may be like I might have ADD. I'm not sure. I think I do, but
I know I do. I take the meds for it though.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't done. Maybe I need to do that. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. But I have a hard time focusing when, like, okay, if I'm talking to you, if I'm sitting there and I'm like looking right at you, for some reason I start like, I'll look at your hair, or I'll look at your shoulder, or I'll look at what's going on behind you. Like, I can't, and when I'm doing that, like my speech goes crazy. I can't really. So in order to keep my focus, I gotta like constantly be like looking around and looking at different things. That's why when I make my videos in the car, I can make a video easy. I don't like mess up my words that much or nothing, because I'm focused on driving and I use my other attention to do something else. You know what I mean?
And your thought process is running in the background.
Yeah.
Jay, you're an ADD kid.
It gotta be. That's what it is, right? That's what it is. And I've been that way my entire life. So it's hard for me to like focus in on stuff like that. So I just forgot why I even brought that up.
Something about making videos and comedy and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was going, but it's interesting.
No. That's it. When I'm making my videos and when I'm talking, my mind is also working at the same time I'm talking. And when that's happening, I can actually see things that I didn't notice before, you know? And it happens while I'm talking. And that's why the more I talk about it, the more I learn about it and the more I'm able to think about it, just because of how my mind is made up.
Because you're thinking out loud.
Yeah. So that's the reason I brought it up, because it's therapy for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I realize, like I say with brainwashing, when you know how they got you, it helps you get over it better. So by me talking about it, I realize more things. When I talk to other XJWs, I realize more things. And with that realization comes the fact that, wow, that's how they got me. And that's what the purpose of that was. And now they can no longer hurt me. And if I ever get the opportunity to, I spread it to other people, you know, like, because a lot of people, they'll say things like, man, I don't know why they treated women so badly. Like, why women in particular did they treat so bad? And after thinking about it, I've seen a bunch of like documentaries and stuff of like women throughout history. Women throughout history have been the most powerful force on the planet. A lot of wars have been caused because somebody liked a woman. If you wanted to sell something, right? Would you sell it with a man or would you sell it with a woman?
Just saying.
Exactly.
Well, and also, good luck continuing the species without us is all. You know,
exactly.
Like you're not going. If you don't have a woman somewhere doing something, you're not going to go very far. I mean, that's
a fact.
It's true.
And for that reason, because of the power that women possess, in order for your organization to be one that's attractive to other people and to be like to control people the way you want to control them, you need to control the women first. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's why they do it. That's why they do it, because they know how powerful women are. They know how
you might be onto something there.
I think so. Like, I haven't completely like confirmed it, but I have a strong feeling that it's based purely on the strength of women and how strong they are and how much they bring to the table. And if they really wanted everything to go amazingly, they have to control the women. So at
Are you saying that the women are a large army?
They are. They're a large army.
I used to get so annoyed during the theocratic ministry school, which I can't believe they got rid of that. That's like one of the only good things about being a witness was not having to go to Toastmasters. But it used to make me so mad to listen to these guys get up there and give talks, and I'm like, I could give a better talk than that. Like off the cuff, completely improv, extemporaneous, could give a better talk than that.
Yeah.
And I'd have to sit there and listen and smile and nod and clap at the end.
And then the sisters, when they do give a talk, they got to talk to each other. We
have to be facing this
reenactment. Yeah. It's like, it's an obvious macho power trip that should have been done with years ago.
Right.
Feminists in general, they need to really take a look at the Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know if the Jehovah's Witnesses is on their radar, but they really need to take a look at that.
That's the thing. The witnesses on so many different levels have gotten under people's radar. I mean, they've got a great PR. I mean, they have to, because okay, for example, I work at a university. I've worked at universities almost my whole career. And I was talking to some faculty members, we were joking around about, one of them was a particular religion, and they were talking about it. People think this is weird and whatever. I was like, no. I grew up in a cult. That's not weird. Mm-hmm. And so one of the other guys asked me, well, what group was it? And I said, Jehovah's Witness. And he goes, oh, well, that's not really a cult. I said, really? It's not? Would you like to tell me? Because I spent 18 years in there, but I might not know. And he's like, well, what makes them a cult? And I was like, well, let's see. Let's go to the right model. And by the end of that, they're like, Right. It totally is. And it's amazing to me how well they've managed to have people think that they're just these harmless, clean-cut, wholesome people. And
I'm thinking maybe that would be a good video. Just basically pointing out exactly what they're doing. It's so much to it. Like, even the fact that they're able to operate in plain sight, that's because they put so much energy, effort, and resources in their brand. You know what I mean?
Yep.
In what you see.
And everything's about what people might think.
Yeah.
Bring reproach. So don't report the child molester, because we don't want people to know that we have that in our organization.
Exactly.
So, the victim just needs to sit down and shut up and protect the brand.
Yeah.
That's all it's about.
And it's not even like with just that. It's like, if you get beat up at the Kingdom Hall, they don't want you to call the police. Don't bring reproach on Jehovah's name. That's not don't bring reproach. That's don't hurt the brand.
Right. That's exactly. That's all it is.
Don't hurt the brand. You know what I mean?
They're protecting the brand.
But they framed it as don't, you see, and I just realized that just now. I never, this ain't something that I knew already, but there you go. Thanks, Bridget. Appreciate it. That's my mind just was like, yo, that's what they doing with that.
Yeah.
They're protecting the brand. So yeah, that's 100% what they do. A lot of the things that I see them do, they do it with a business type of motivation. Like, everything they do is for business.
Yep.
The controlling women, it helps them in their brand, help them push it, help them get members, help them, better fight for things, And as far as don't call the police, that protects the brand.
Yep.
Because, once police start getting involved, next thing you know, news agencies is picking it up and hurts the brand.
And then there's all the restrictions on what you can wear, what you're allowed to read, what entertainment, what sports you can look. I mean, all of the control plays into that too, because you can't have somebody who appears 100% wholesome and innocent and perfect goody two shoes if they are actually woke and know something about anything.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't.
And that's one of the reasons I think that you don't have people to play sports, because I know people that play sports. One thing that I can say about everybody who I ever met who grew up playing sports consistently, these are the most confident people in the world. They've had that moment in their life where they had to rely on themselves and they produce in some type of fashion.
Yep.
So they know that their opinion and that their thoughts about situations isn't always wrong. Because
Right.
if people think that everything that they think is wrong and I need to depend on somebody else's thoughts or somebody else's rationalization of anything, then they'll always fall victim. But confident people they're like, no, my opinion matters. What I think matters. I can be right sometimes. You know what I mean? When it comes to that, you can't brainwash those type of people.
Especially when you talk about sports, people who played team sports.
Yeah.
They know how to work within a team of other people. They know they know conflict resolution. They know how to work together toward a common goal. They know how to talk to people and communicate and get through. They learn these difficult life lessons, most of them early in life.
Very early.
Like, when you're a kid in school, it's so much easier to learn that stuff than when you're 40 and you escape from the Jehovah's Witnesses and you don't know how to do jack.
Yeah.
Somebody's always mediated everything for you. Your thinking has always been subcontracted to somebody else. You just listen to what you're told. I can remember my father and my uncles all telling me when I was a teenager, late teens, early 20s, right when I was getting disfellowshipped and, between trying to leave and then getting kicked out, well, you don't have to understand it. Just believe it. Just believe it. Don't have to understand it. And I'm like, no, I'm not leaving because I'm too stupid to understand.
Right.
No. I'm leaving because it's bullshit.
Right. There's a big difference between those two things,
Yeah, like there's a big difference.
And that's just crazy. You don't have to understand it, just believe it. Like that's nonsensical. Like at all points, I don't know anything in life. Well, maybe when I'm talking to like children, like little babies.
Yeah.
Like, why do I gotta eat this food I don't like? Well, you don't gotta understand. Just know it's good for you. But eventually they learn it,
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to like the Jehovah's Witness organization, you just never learn it. You're just shut up and listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or just shut
up.
up.
They don't want you to know anyway. My kids, I because the way that my parents were when I was growing up, I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum with my kids. And when they want to know something like, I don't want to brush my teeth. Why do I have to brush my teeth? Well, fine. Don't. But here's the thing. Okay, well, I am your parent and I am in charge of making sure that you're healthy and safe and all of that until you're old enough to make your own decisions. And so I can't force you to brush your teeth, but I will tell you I'm going to control the environment. And if you don't, then you can't eat anything that turns to sugar on your teeth.
That's right.
So all you can eat is vegetables and meat.
Hey,
their least favorite.
Hey, that's great parenting right there.
And then they're like, no, I don't want to do that. Well, then you got a choice. You can brush your teeth or you can only eat vegetables and meat. I'm gonna go brush my teeth now. But they're learning, or at least I hope they are, learning the tools to be able to think critically through these things and to learn, and understand why instead of, just because I said so.